Hey, we're on live. Okay.
Ding, 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 ding. Welcome back, welcome back.
Episode
It's
11.
it's a week later. I came through the portal wearing
Yaggy,
the
yaggy,
same
yo.
clothes. I need to take a
Oh,
shower.
I will say tie dye does look decent on me.
It does.
Yeah. It
I
does look
agree.
pretty good. Okay.
I mean, this week, you
Yeah.
got to change your clothes at least once a week, unless you're
Yeah.
me.
I wore a brand new tie dye of Grateful Dead and Dead and Company, fresh tie dye and khakis to a Dave Matthews show the other day. You know what I was doing? I was cosplaying as an undercover cop at a show. I was a fucking middle-aged man with a brand new fucking dead tie dye. I was like asking people for drugs everywhere.
Oh, my
Hey
God.
man,
Hey, man.
I was cosplaying as an undercover cop
Oh,
for
man.
sure.
Wow.
I do that really well now.
Dude,
Where-
I
Go ahead.
No.
You brought up Dave Matthews for a second there, and he's of course Charlottesville, well known.
I was in Virginia Beach, though. We won free tickets.
Okay. So, what bar did he work at? When
Well,
he
it's
first
the
made
bar
his,
that he was like would play at a lot. There's two places that
he was a
well,
bartender, right?
the place that doesn't exist anymore that's on a lot of bootlegs. It's called Tracks with an X. Okay, but there is the bar that's still in existence that kind of claims him, and that's called Miller's.
Okay.
And there's still incredible jazz like in the window of that
Okay.
place, like almost every night. It's really more of a billiards lounge now.
Okay.
But yeah, it is well known as like. I don't really think it was Dave Matthews' band that could have really been crushing it there. It must have been him and like Tim Reynolds, I think.
Okay.
But that is the place where like he discovered and met all his friends. That's what they
Okay.
say. So, that place is funny because it's like right on the downtown mall,
Okay.
and Trax is where it's been ripped down. It's right on the same corner that University Hall was. The Grateful Dead played there and Fish played there.
Okay.
But the downtown mall is, it's a beautiful architectural wonder of
Okay.
Charlottesville.
Right.
But it also was built in '75,
Mhm.
and then later on they built another like brick structure over it. So
Okay.
it's a nice little mini tunnel
Right.
about like rat sized.
Mhm.
And there's trees that go all up and down the mall, and there's all this. We're known for our,
Right.
eating outside. What's it called?
Mhm.
Al fresco.
Al
fresco.
Eating
yeah.
al fresco.
Yeah.
I know Al Fresco. He's one of my best friends, and I'll tell you all about him later. So yeah, like we were eating at that same place one night, and Caroline was like having some stomach stuff. She really tries to not be like the problem. Sometimes we're all that customer. We can all be that customer.
Yeah,
but
every
there
once in a
are
while.
some like, dude. She was like, "Can I please just get like a chicken sandwich with no cheese?" And the lady's like, "No substitutions." And I forget to tell you guys this. Karina wanted to go to this place. This was before we had the rabbit because she knew about the mall and that the trees had little openings and the patios were right by the trees. And
Right.
she's like, Dad, can we go to the rat tree? Can we go to the rat tree? Like, no, can we go eat where the rat tree is? And we're just like, oh my God. And so meanwhile, Caroline's asking this lady who, like, she's got dreads too. And the lady who she's ordering from has dreads and all these tattoos. And she's just like, no substitutions. And Caroline's like,
Oh,
I just
wow.
really don't want any cheese.
It's
And
not a
meanwhile, like right
substitution.
behind us,
It's
like,
not.
it's something less.
yeah, so something
less.
less. And then literally
They're
there's like
saving the
a
restaurant.
rat coming out, like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Karina's like, yay, where's the rat? Oh, dad. And Caroline's like, can I please just not have the cheese? Just not have the cheese,
Right.
Lady's like, no substitutions. And she had like blackout tattoos too, like enough tattoos that she wanted to substitute her race. But dude, yeah, I do love Miller's. I do love it to death. We still go there. If you ever get a chance to go to Charlottesville, yes, I do still go there, even though there are rats running around
I
on
do
the patio.
occasionally listen to jazz music. I like jazz.
Oh yeah,
so.
John. We just had a jazz ish. They called
Yeah.
it Jazz Fest in Charlottesville. The rats are here. We had a jazz fest recently, but one of the guys who teaches at the university, his name is John DeEarth, and he's like a sessions trumpet player, and he's on all kinds of incredible jazz
Right.
musicians' albums and has his own. And then we go to the Unitarian Church, and the director of music there is also an educator at the university, and he's an incredible like Scott Joplin level pianist, and
Right.
they host a lot. We get some incredible music coming through Charlottesville, and I don't think a lot of people realize we're kind of like a little bit of a Nashville town because people think of Nashville as like, oh, this is where you get discovered, and it's way bigger than Charlottesville. But what Charlottesville has is a lot of music management. It's where Red Light Management is based, and because of Dave Matthews, there's a Dave Matthews manager lives there, and Fish's management lives there. So it's often like kind of a stop off on a lot of people's tours on their rise because they're hoping to get noticed by the right tour management.
You know what I know about Charlottesville?
Okay.
There's more people born and raised in Charlottesville that have gold medals than in any other city in the United States.
I don't know if that's true.
Gold
that can't be
medals?
true anymore.
In the
Olympics.
Olympic gold
Olympics.
medalists.
Not
More
with Phelps.
Olympic gold medalists have been born and raised in Charlottesville than anywhere else.
American.
American.
Okay.
One of the
I'm
one
gonna
of the
have to fact
recent
check you on
ones
that
that
one.
You're not allowed to fact check.
Even if I don't fact check you, I will say it on my wine tours. I will tell people that.
Well, if you do find it,
So you're saying like people like the swimmer Mark Spitz that had so many.
it's just
Michael Phelps.
They
Michael
might
Phelps,
not
Michael
officially
Phelps,
train
yeah.
there, but they spent
Yeah.
part of their lives or were
They
born
train
there.
there. They spent.
Caroline is an Olympic athlete. Did you know that? She actually went to Atlanta and rode in the Olympics.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big, yeah. Big
Because
rower.
was she a rower at Wakefield?
No, she went to, now she's going to kill me if she watches this. Now I can't remember.
Private school?
No, she's from Alexandria.
Oh, so like
She didn't go to
TJ.
the other one, not TC Williams. I'm blanking on it right now. But yeah, I rode in WNL too, but I didn't get to the Olympics. She was I mean, she didn't get a medal or anything.
I switched from the swim team to the diving team so I didn't have to swim laps.
Oh, yeah, and divers are stoners. Everyone knows that.
Oh man,
I
was
knew you
listening
back
to
in the day
Suicidal
when you were a
Tendencies on the way
stoner.
to a diving meet. We knew there'd be we had this guy that was going to the Olympics on our team,
Right.
Sam, and he would get first place, and then the other team had somebody good, they'd get second place,
Right.
and then me and Barry Skidmore and other person on the other team would just be like, okay, I'm gonna try to do this, and if I pull it off, I get third, and if I totally flail,
Then-
one of you guys is gonna get third, and you just do a couple dives, and then you just try something you couldn't do,
Yeah.
and if you pull it off, you pull it off, and if not,
Yeah.
and it was more about overcoming because you knew you could do it, but it's just you had to get in the right frame of mind to just say fuck it and do it.
Yeah, you and Barry were more into the psychedelic aspects of diving and
Well,
the
see,
trails caused by it.
I stopped doing psychedelics at diving meets because one time I dove in, and when you dive in, you curl,
Yes.
and then you come back up because you're trying to create as little splash as possible. But I curled the extra flip too far, and I swam into the bottom of the pool.
Yeah, that's no fun on
wow.
acid, dude.
It was a lot of fun.
Nah,
It's
But
I get
watching
third every
people
once in a
dive
while.
while
Yeah.
you're on acid, lots of good trails, and the splashes are colorful.
Well, really, it's it's easy to maintain your balance.
right.
I know why you and Barry were into it.
That's the key is balance.
But yeah,
It
looking
is
at anything like that, as a hey, to overcome and get into that Zen space that you have to get in to dive. Any athletics where you have to get into that. We talked about last time, flow space. Get into that head
Oh,
space.
yeah.
That's the coolest part. I call a lot of things psychedelic these days. I'm it's so trippy. I really the way you got to overcome and get over the hard shit. That's how I describe getting on
But
stage
it's
at
more
open
about
mics.
getting into a state of mind that children are medicated against being in now.
Yeah.
I think, or
You know what I'm saying?
hypnotized
It's
by the phone again.
hypnotized, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
there's so many people that are in that flow state that they're like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
It's but they're there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's everybody else wants to be there, but they're not.
We were talking before we aired the show, and we were talking about, I watch a lot of the things where people have near-death experiences and they float and they see each other and the doctors wait, above the table and everything. And it makes me wonder, none of us really know what's on the other side when people pass on. We all have relatives and people, and we want to think that. But the thing is, do you think it's another realm like it is it's like the same Earth, but they're on another side, on the other side of the curtain?
I do. One thing
When
I have
people
faith
pass
in
on?
is that I do not know. I have faith that I do not know the answer,
Yeah.
but I have had a near-death experience and several out-of-body experiences
Okay.
that were not drug-induced. I've had those too. I've had them after accidents too. I've talked to you before about how in sound baths, zero balancing, craniosacral, a lot of like uh, Caroline talks about getting effects like this where you are floating above your body with acupressure. So people who've been in like had traumatic car accidents will often like jump out. Your spirit kind of jumps out of your body when you're
Yeah.
scared. That's one type of like leaving, but I do. I'll tell you a quick little story. I've been able to tell it pretty quickly on a national stage before, but so I was hit by a car when I was 15,
Okay.
and I broke my neck. That's sort of the punchline, I guess. But I'll tell you a little bit closer to the weird part about it is that my name is David Craig, and I'm named after David, who's my dad's younger brother, and Craig is my mom's younger brother slash like cousin. She's real southern,
Yeah.
And so David, was like he was a genius basically, and he was hit by a car, not hit by a car. He was on his bike in southern India, and he was sucked under the tires of a truck in southern India, and he was like
Wow.
a prodigy. Yeah, and so before my parents met, and then Craig was like a real special kid in the rural South of Mississippi. He was like, my mom's like, we didn't really have a word for it, honey, but he was real special. Everyone loved him, and he could win sweepstakes real good. That was the thing. Really, it was an amazing kid, and he was hit by a car in Mississippi. Actually, I think the details are very similar. Like truck side of the road, swept under the tires, and they were both right around 15 when that happened, and I was 15. I'd already been hit by a car enough times to not know better than to tell my parents at that point that it would freak them out.
Yeah.
But this time I was. So the third time I got hit by a car, let me tell you about that. So the third time I got hit by a car, we were in Bethany Beach. It was like 1991. I was on my like cool Schwinn Sprint bike, and I had my headphones on and no helmet and a Grateful Dead shirt because I had just snuck out the week before to go to RFK. And I looked up, there was a red light. So it's, everyone stopped at the red light, and I wanted to cross the street at Bethany Beach, so I started to go across where there's like this big totem pole. I don't know if you've ever been to Bethany, but it's a totem pole.
Yeah.
Chief Little Owl.
Okay.
And by the time I got like halfway across, I heard like an engine revving, and there was like a van, like it was in the second lane, a white van in the second lane was like blocking my view, but I could hear like a car trying to make what I now know was a yellow left arrow.
Right.
And they were in the far lane, and so they hit me like. But the thing was, that I kind of knew they were about to hit me, and I should have been like crossing.
You knew it was happening before it happened.
But as I was approaching the van, a voice in my head, like louder than the like Paul Simon in my headphones, was like, "Don't hit the brakes. If you hit the brakes right now, you're gonna go end over end." It was like all this information immediately. Do not hit the brakes. Take a deep breath and let go of the handlebars in 3, 2, 1. And I just let go and like let myself fly in the air. My bike went that way, and because of the position of my leg, my left leg was up, and it hit the crank of my bike, which was snapped off immediately. My bike ended up like all the way across Route 1.
Yeah.
And I just went straight up in the air and landed on the guy's windshield. And while he was pretty much hitting the brakes. I was really lucky. And then I rolled off and was like at the base of this totem pole.
Yeah.
And the totem pole started going. And I was like, why is that totem pole so loud? And I looked down and this one drop of blood hit the ground. And I was like, whoa, I started to get up. And somebody came up and was like, don't move. And they put me in the back of a car. And all I remember then was like these two kids in the back of the car. Their mouths were just like wide open. They saw the whole thing. They were like, And then, so I got put on a gurney, and it happened right across the street from the fire department. Yeah. And as I was getting put on the gurney and into the helicopter, I started telling them that I was named after two people that were killed. And they were like, yeah, we know. Then I'm in the helicopter, and at some point, I became aware that there were two, like, young men in the helicopter that were, like, not dressed like the other helicopter people. And in my opinion, it was now, looking back, I think it was David and Craig. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that happened next, which is really, I told this on the stage at the Moth this last summer in Berkeley, about how I woke up, and I don't know if this is true or if it was just part of the extended thing that was going on with me imagining or experiencing these people. The next person came on and said, "You're probably gonna wake up paralyzed, so stop moving. Like, whatever all this is,
Right.
just get your act together. Because if you even move,
Right.
like,
it
you're
can
not
make it
paralyzed
worse.
now, but if you fuck around, you might
make
wake
it
up
worse.
paralyzed."
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, that's really shitty bedside manner.
Wow. Yeah,
And
I
like,
mean,
there's a lot of people who say that didn't happen. But what I do know, because there was nobody else in the room, but what I do know is, like, before I woke up again, I had two distinct, like, really vivid, like, dreams. Is the only way I could describe it. But felt like living inside of two lives. And I had a life where I was rich and famous. People knew who I was. I had, like, it was like speaking tours or some shit, but I was paralyzed. And I was in a wheelchair.
wow.
And then there was this other life where it was like, I can vaguely remember, like, the details that I remember are that it was like, I was not rich, but I had art. I had a lot of music. I was not paralyzed. And I had, like, a family. And there was, like, all this, like, love and, like, art and music. And that's basically, like, now, look, I'm walking around and stuff. And it's kind of like how I've lived my life
Right.
since then.
Yeah.
But I do think that was and since then, I've had other head injuries and stuff, after a certain number of head injuries, like, reality in and of itself is questionable,
Right.
And luckily I live with a woman who's had some pretty heavy head injuries herself and been in car accidents and had some, like, outer body experiences as well. But both of us have come away with this idea that, like, yeah, there probably is multiple dimensions and
Exactly.
universes where
That's what
we
I was gonna bring
exist.
up, yeah.
And, like, we were talking about time last time. I feel like that veil that's between these multiple dimensions is, like I said it before, is very, like, tidal for me as, like, an energy worker and stuff.
Right.
I can't always, like, tap into it, but sometimes, like, it's like a tide. Like, when the moon is closer is a good example,
Yeah.
or when it's temporal, but it's also space related, like,
Yeah.
geomantic in a way, where certain places I've been or certain places I am, I can feel the veil is thinner. And, I've considered myself somewhat of a, I don't want to go so far as to be like, I'm a shaman or whatever, but, like, the way that I experience the world is, likened to the way a lot of people
Right.
who are, like, quite frankly,
Yeah.
schizophrenic or shamanic in other cultures. And so after that number of experiences, I sort of try to live my life in such a way that, like, and it's weird, and maybe I gave myself this curse, like, don't chase the money. And every time I start to get close to the money, the things start to unravel. Maybe it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
Like, the last time I ever gave, like, a
So-
fortune teller, like, any money and told her my, like, birthday, the first thing she said was, "Oh, Sagittarius, you're going to be very bad with money." It's like, thanks, I just gave you my money, obviously. So I do it for trade now. I do it for trade now and things go well. But it's
Yeah.
a joke, but it's true,
Yeah.
And as far as outer body experiences and, experiencing multiple dimensions or multiple possibilities, we get locked in. It's real easy to get locked in. We might have a mission here and why we're locked in. But, like, I don't know if you know this, but Charlottesville, again, is the center for NDE, near-death experiences and out-of-body experience.
Wow, I did not
There's
know
a
that.
center for the study of that
Huh.
at Charlottesville and apparently the like, world first expert, like, academic expert on it
Right.
was there.
Yeah.
And additionally, are you guys familiar with, speaking of outer-body, are you familiar with astral projection or remote viewing?
I've heard that term
I'm sure
before.
you've heard of it.
Yes.
Probably in the manosphere, I would imagine. They
Yeah.
probably co-opted all of our hippie dialogue. But one of the things that, like, us hippies and energy workers have always been, like, really into is this idea that, like, you can go places in your mind. And in Charlottesville,
Like a dream, right?
what's that?
Like a dream.
It's similar to lucid dreaming. This is adjacent.
Yeah.
Lucid dreaming is when you're aware that you're dreaming, and then you can, like, manipulate the time and
Right.
space or where you're going to go, even learn,
Right.
a new language or travel through the world, all in a dream state. And, like,
Yeah.
motherfucker, I can't get my chores done while I'm awake. You think I'm gonna? Yeah, thanks a lot. That's a psyop. And I'll tell you what. Oh, I'm not. I am serious. Everything's a psyop. My fucking psychologist is trying to run a psyop on me, but I do know that in Charlottesville there is a center called the Monroe Institute, and it's an area very similar to this, like, adjacent to this in the mountains. There's a place in Nellie's Ford
Right.
in Nelson County where people claim to hear a vibration. Hippies have said it forever. Now there's a place called the Monroe Institute, and in the 60s, the CIA, look it up, the
Right.
CIA would bring their people there to learn to remote view and do astral projection at this
Wow.
space in Charlottesville. So
Right.
it's like, that's part of the reason why there's always been like energy workers and the woo-woo people
Yeah.
in that area, but also it's kind of like here where there was like a lot of back to the land like
So
stuff in the
there's
60s.
two things.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Two things with this.
Mm-hmm.
When you fall asleep and it's hard to realize you're dreaming, but sometimes you do.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
first step when you realize you're dreaming
Mm-hmm.
to actively participate is look for your hands.
Yep, that's one of the
If
best
you
ones.
can actively look down and notice that you have your own hands in your dream, then you can actively participate. It's the easiest way to become an active participant.
Yeah,
in
there's
your
all
dream.
sorts of little tricks,
Right.
like turning the
And-
lights on and off, and if you can't turn them off,
So
Yeah,
in your
it's like-
dreams, you can't tell time, right?
depending on what
It
kind of dream
depends.
you're in.
It's
Yeah.
like it depends if you're an active dreamer or a passive dreamer, because a lot of times in passive
Right.
dreaming, you're just like floating above what's going on. But to merge from being passive to active, the easiest way for someone to start the process of active dreaming is to look for your hands.
Right.
Yeah, it's like you
right.
get
Then the
inside
second
the body,
thing is
out of the
once you
body.
figure out that you can find your hands and become an active part of dreaming, the easiest way to fly is to throw yourself at the floor and miss.
Yeah, I've heard this, or the the tippy toe.
Wow. That's mind blowing a little bit. Yeah.
Have I ever told you about my friends who? Have I ever told you about Heckle the Hag? Have I ever told this story?
No.
When I lived in Oregon, I have a
Oh,
friend
my
who.
goodness.
It was a really close group of friends. One of them was my dishwasher when I was a chef at this restaurant, and he was like this punk rock kid, and all of his friends were like raging punk rocker, kind of like young bucks. Like, you guys are overkill. They're incredible artists. This one kid was an amazing. His dad was an amazing artist. His name is Alex Ricefar. He's done a couple Mastodon album covers. Now, let me tell you this: when they were like 17, 18, one of their friends had sleep paralysis, all right? And so some people would consider, back in the day, would call this having a hag or a night hag, where it would sit on, some people witness it to themselves as though there's something like a demon sitting on your chest.
Okay.
Sort of the folklore version of it. Maybe so, maybe not. Well, he and his friends, his kids, out in Oregon, a little bit of a woo-woo space, early internet, started looking up remote viewing and lucid dreaming, okay?
Right.
And so they learned, actually long before I moved here, learned about, the Monroe Institute, got online, started teaching
Right.
themselves to lucid dream. So all three of them, when they were smoking, and their buddy would get into sleep paralysis while they were high, they would enter into, like the movie, I'm telling you, they would enter into
Wow.
lucid dreaming together and meet each other in the dream. And they would start heckling the hag on this guy's chest until it would leave him alone, and he'd get up and participate with them in the dream, in real life, and then they would start going and having like adventures. And there's like 3 or 4 of them who I've corroborated the story with, and their art proves it. Like the incredible, detailed, like hand painted oil paintings that this
Yeah.
guy does is masterful. We'll drop a link. I'll show you some of his work.
Wow.
And I think that would be a great name for a punk band, though. Heckle the Hag. You think? Or
Wow,
a metal band, Heckle the Hag.
I always like Deaf Child.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one.
It's
I guess
like
it
the
would be out
sign
in
on the side of the
Norwegian
road.
death
Yeah.
The
metal.
yellow sign that says
Yeah.
Deaf Child. Caution.
Oh my
Heckle
god.
the Hag.
Jeez.
Yeah, you should look up
Yeah.
Alex Ricefar's work. It's
Okay.
amazing.
So did anybody, when you were growing up out here, did anybody have like rock and roll bands or punk metal bands or
You know,
like
like,
got
I
together
just
like people
can't-
our age that like were trying
Maybe
to
in the
become
small
rockers?
towns around us, there was a few that I went to.
But
that-
not here in Fort Valley.
Not here, no.
Okay.
But
Did you guys go into the city to see shows and stuff?
oh yeah, I would honestly, when I was in my 20s, I would go to a lot of raves and stuff. So I would just buzz and stuff, all that stuff. I'd
Like
go, every
raves
week.
that had like one sound system and no VIP, and like
Well-
you had to bring your own water, and there was like maybe some dirt. Like
Yeah,
Well, Buzz had commissary.
yeah, the cover. But
Yeah,
like
I
compared to
remember-
now, where they call them a rave, and it's like 5 tiers of VIP, and
Oh,
that's not like the EDM world is not a rave. I remember like
It was
leaving
just
a
like an
rave
empty
and having
warehouse
black
So
with a sound
basically, this was
system.
around 2095 to 2000. So.
Yeah, where it's like a warehouse with a sound system, and
Yeah,
it's like
and dust.
it was
A lot
there
of
like
dust,
that
yeah.
week, and it wasn't there the
Yeah,
next
I
week.
love that, dude.
Yeah,
Apparently
those are
that's
great.
coming back. Apparently people are like seeking that out in,
So that
in like
is
the
a
LA
thing
scene.
that's coming back now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, the EDM has been like the biggest thing
Yeah.
in music now when I work
Yeah.
with music in the industry. But like, what is turns out is actually coming back, which is like refreshing, is these just absolute chaos shows where there's no main management, one sound system, it disappears.
Right.
See these underground parties in New York that are by the trains now that are in the abandoned train station, abandoned subway stations.
Wow.
Amazing like punk raves that are happening. Like the DIY punk scene and the rave scene are still real.
Okay.
The kids Conrad's age, they're doing like
Okay.
real hardcore stuff. I've heard some some
mean,
good hardcore
It's
lately.
music-wise, like I mean, a lot of the rave music was drum and bass,
Yeah.
and
That's about what it
stuff
was,
like
yeah.
that, and it's like I still listen to drum and bass like
Oh yeah, you do. I know you
almost
do.
daily. It's like
thought you
my
dropped into
favorite. It's
trance.
bassdrive.com is great. It's live drum and bass DJs,
Yeah.
24 hours a day, 7 days
Like
a
you're
week.
talking Germany and shit
Yeah, I
like
mean,
that.
there's
Oh, yeah,
musicians all over the world that are all
Yeah.
connected,
Detroit.
and they've been on live 24 hours a day for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Right.
And the new drum and bass that's currently coming out, just the way that I don't know if they still use 808s to
Oh, yeah.
create the drum beats
Oh,
and the
yeah.
patterns and all that stuff. But the younger generation of people messing with the technology
Yes.
are creating amazing sounds. It's
I like
just
this new synthesizer movement where people are like bringing back old synthesizers and turning weird things into synthesizers to
Oh,
create
yeah.
like
Jeez.
raw sound right
Dude,
now.
I fell asleep in the driveway the other night. I downloaded like 50 Buckethead albums and just mixed it all up. And I'm listening to Buckethead and I'm drinking and I got a fire going and I'm sitting out in my chair and I got a big ass fan on. It's like 90 degrees. And I wake up at like 3:30 in the morning. It's just like, bing.
I don't know how
bong,
those-
and
yeah.
it's like this 40-minute Buckethead song, and I can't think of the name of it. I'll post it later
Wow.
tonight.
Your
But
neighbors were cool with
something
that,
in
right?
it. Oh, my neighbors don't hear nothing. It's like like you guys have been to my house. You guys
Yeah,
have podcasts
right.
from my driveway, but we didn't turn the camera the other way. But it's
Yeah.
like there's nobody that way,
No one
and
that
there's
way.
But you
nobody that
definitely
way,
have a
and the
loud
closest
sound
person
system.
behind me
woods
is
way
like
back there.
10
You
acres
have somebody
behind
right
me.
across the street though, right? Don't you
No,
have
nobody
one?
lives there.
Oh,
It's-
really? Okay.
I mean,
okay.
we'll get the last people
Don't
that lived
dox
there
yourself.
like OD'd out in the field. Like
Yeah,
Now,
don't
what
dox
he's
yourself, really.
talking
Yeah,
about
it's
what
like-
used to be a restaurant. I remember driving.
it was
past
a restaurant.
Yeah.
Now it's an apartment, and the lady. I actually met the lady for the first
Okay.
time last week. This little
Okay.
Asian lady. She lives in Warrenton. She's looking for somebody to cut the grass, and I was trying to help connect her with somebody to cut her grass
Okay.
for her. But the grass got cut. But it's just she charges more for rent for like a 3-bedroom apartment across the street from us than our mortgages.
Wow.
You know, so it's like they get certain people in there and they're only there for so long, and
Yeah.
then they don't pay rent, and then they steal her furniture,
And
and
then
like
they
she'll
Oh.
just have people there for maybe like 6 months or so of a year, and then it takes her another year to find somebody that's
Yes.
just as bad. You know, it's like it's just hard for her to find
She needs
renters.
to put a
out here.
hate tree in the front yard to scare away all the hate, all the little blue bottles in the front yard. And if there's been people OD in there, she needs
Well,
to
that was
do
great.
a
So
seance.
Mary
Somebody
and I
left
would
a
come
white
home
hat
from
on the
work,
bed.
right, and we'd get a drink and we'd go out in the driveway and just
Right.
chill. You know, I mean, we live out in the country. It's like we let the dogs out and we're just chilling, watching the cars drive by, and then like the first car drives up and they just lay on the horn and lay on the horn. Then somebody comes out and then they're like
Yeah.
smoking. I don't know what they were smoking, but they're standing out on the porch smoking, and then like
smell like flat
they
meat.
leave, and then like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, like one of them gets up and just starts laying up, hurry up, bitch, it's time to go to work, and they're just like laying on the horn, and
Oh
we're
my
like,
gosh.
these people suck, dude. It's like,
That is horrible.
you know, and then eventually, like, I come home one night and like, no car shows up.
Yeah.
There's a car sitting there,
Yeah.
and I'm not really noticing it, but you know,
Yeah.
there was something out in the tall grass.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there and I'm hanging out, and eventually an ambulance shows up and they get the cart out and they go over to the lump in the
dude.
grass and they're like picking this dude up and putting him on.
Wow.
And I guess he OD'd in the yard, and I don't know whether
That's a
the
straight
girl
facility.
left or like knew or what, but it's just like I'm just chilling, like watching them like pick dude up out the yard, put him on the stretcher, put him in the box truck, and
Wow.
And there was
roll
no
him
vehicle
out.
at the whole time that he
No,
was like,
dude,
yeah,
it's just like.
Oh.
But I
Um,
mean, it's just the
Yeah.
house across the street, and generally,
somebody
even if
definitely left a
somebody's
white
living
hat
in
on the
there,
bed
I play
or
music as
something
loud
like
as I
that.
want all night long.
Dude, dude, heroin addicts are really scary, but they're also very superstitious. You know, like there's lots of weird superstitions.
Oh
so
yeah,
you
don't
gotta,
leave a
like,
hat on the bed.
Yeah, don't leave a motherfucking hat on the bed. Don't have a white
You
lighter.
know what's
in the
crazy,
fucking-
but you just brought that up, and the first thing that comes to mind is when I was younger, I was into grunge music and the rock scene and all that. You know, Alice in Chains and stuff.
Oh
like
hell
that.
yeah,
And you know,
Blood Honey.
yeah, I mean, like Lane Stanley was a heroin, and he died from that. you know.
They were trying to
And-
make it look cool back then, dude.
But with him, it's like his last. Watched a documentary on him, and his last months to a year, he was a recluse. He wouldn't even come out, and he dropped weight. He was only like 100 pounds, and the dude was, he just wasted away.
But he had that same mentality
You know,
of a lot of musicians. Were
yes.
like, I'm not even going to be 27 before I die.
But he actually
Yeah.
made
and
it.
like
to,
purposely
yeah, he made it to age
focus
34.
their life path
he made
on
it to
dying.
age
Well,
34.
that's what happens when
Yeah.
the CIA puts that thought in their head when they make them a star. You know. That's
And
what,
when did
when
that
they-
actually start? Did that start with like Janis Joplin?
Well, yeah,
back
they
then?
call it the 27 Club.
Basically
and,
Jimi Hendrix. And
There's a
stuff,
lot of
right?
people who say, the conspiracy theorists say that like that's actually just restarting a new life, that was planned or whatever. That they think that both bunch of those people are still alive. I don't know how much I believe that.
Well, I mean,
but
there's
I
a
do
good
think there
portion
is
of people on this planet that believe in reincarnation.
Yeah, oh yeah.
A
There's
big
also kind of a
So-
find what you seek. Caroline and I always say you
Yeah.
find what you seek and you create your own reality. And like if you are like aiming for that sort of like drive until the wheels fall off. I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go hard in the paint the whole
Yeah.
time. Like, and I've been that guy before. Or you've seen
Yeah.
me be that guy before. And it's hard to get off those rails. I remember telling my dad when I was young and we were like partying really hard and shit and talking about what I was gonna do in the future. And it's one of the things I said. Oh, well, I don't think you're gonna know me past 30. He's like, what the fuck, dude? And honestly, the weirdest thing about that was that like he actually died when I was 30, but I did
Wow.
kind of predict that. And sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, did I predict it or did I say the wrong thing? But I do
Words
think some of that
sound
27
power.
club
Words
is
have meaning. Yeah.
Words
self-fulfilling
sound power,
prophecy.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say something real quick here, and it was just like we were talking about this, and it just popped in my head, and I was reading something somewhere, and it said like with reincarnation and stuff, where if you're continually working on yourself, that's meaning in some way where when people have different life paths, and like if you continue to work on yourself, I feel that's me.
well,
as I've gotten older.
That's the whole. I mean,
Does that mean something that in the next
religious-
lifetime that it would be someone?
Well, no. See, that's the point of the
How
religious
that-
structure of reincarnation. It's not working continually to just have birth and new life
Yeah.
over and over again. You're supposed to, if you're part of that religious structure teaching, each new life, you're supposed to be working on improving something in your spiritual
Yes,
journey
exactly,
to get
yeah,
to the
trying
point
to
where
get-
you become pure and enlightened and you're not reborn anymore. But so many people are sidetracked by so much of the reality we live in that they are continually dying and being reborn and not even learning to
Right.
be working on that path.
But there are also some forms of like in some sects of Buddhism and also other places where they believe in reincarnation, where it's like it's not all this linear idea of okay, you did real shitty, so now you have to
Right.
go experience be like a beetle in a fucking cow dung or some shit. But honestly, depending on what your perspective, being any part of a cow, if you were Hindu, depending on the sect, that would be considered a a sacred lifetime. Think about like there are people who are like, yo, so okay, I've achieved a lot here. I know I have a couple more things that I want to experience. Talk about astral projection. There's some people who, even myself, I'll give you this example. I think if I were to like have a few more steps of enlightenment that I needed to achieve, but couldn't quite achieve it at this like vibrational stage, I would think it would be an advancement to die and then come back as like a dragonfly. Okay, dragonfly doesn't last that long. They only have like all the nymph stages and everything are all like, amazing. But then like a dragonfly can do a number of things like once it's alive as a dragonfly, including like traverse the entire Atlantic Ocean in its lifetime,
Right.
feeding off of the krill and stuff off the top of the ocean. And even just like to experience that, you could probably whatever the lifetime of a dragonfly is minuscule to
Yeah.
our life,
Right.
You can do that, and then a couple other bugs lives on your way to like full enlightenment. And I would think that that could honestly teach you a lot. But like I say, the one thing I do have faith in is that I have no idea what's going to happen.
It's
But
the
that would
unknown.
be
Yeah.
also from my like limited psychedelic experience. I think there is a way to actually experience all those things in this life. There really is a way to find.
You just
But
keep your eyes open when you go through the portal.
it's the best. It's
And
all.
don't
It's
follow the
about the
rules
best
on the sign.
hypnotist.
The sign says when you go through the portal, you're supposed to close
Yeah.
your eyes and not reopen them till you
So-
come out the other side.
I watched a TED talk years ago about this guy saying, "Don't fear the unknown. Don't fear it. Just embrace it."
But follow the rules
And-
on the
yeah,
signs.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, I'll say this:
Yeah.
when I've gone through the rapid tunnel of the dimethyltryptamine tunnel, there's a couple times where I actually was thankful that I had listened and read the stories of test pilots and what the different breathing techniques that they use early on in jet rockets and stuff to not lose consciousness, and ways to like when the tunnel vision comes in and there's too much information and data coming. I remember like one of my most profound tunnel portal experiences. I again in my mind was like, yeah, you should breathe in this way. You'll be able to not like lose it all, and do like breathing exercises.
But it sounds like you
Get
have
through
a
the tunnel.
connection to other people
Right.
in an altered state.
Probably my
You
other,
know what I'm
maybe
saying?
my
It's
other
like
my other
I
self.
don't.
Yeah.
I can't say in my memory in altered states or in transit between portals that like I can remember people talking or giving instructions.
Okay.
I know from reading that there's certain instructions that I've seen, and like I said, like follow the sign on the wall,
Right.
follow the instructions. If it
Yeah.
says no trespassing, you're probably gonna get you in trouble
Oh yeah,
if
you're
you're
definitely
trespassing. But
yeah.
like one of the things,
It's a
it's
vibe.
from like an old science fiction book from the 30s or 40s that I read at my dad's, and it's like it's about portal transfer, and it's like they tell everybody going through the portal once they make it commercialized, like don't open your eyes when you go through the tunnel, and they've got like a sign on the wall when you go through the fucking
Too much
doorway,
data,
wow.
dude.
and it's like everybody that opens their eyes that comes through the tunnel, they're like
Yeah.
gets crazed, like it's so long, it's so long, it's so long, and it's just like an echo of it, you know,
Right,
and it's
too
just
much
like
data, bro.
Wow.
you know, but I mean, I think it's pretty wild, man, because it's like there's so much we don't know.
Yeah.
And I mean, even when we're just sitting here with this beautiful trees and environment around us, the video is capturing what
Yeah.
it can see. But ourselves, the three of us here, our mind is creating about 80% of it.
Actually,
There's
my mind
only
is trying to
about
block out
20
all these vibrations and
There's-
wah-wahs that are happening. That I'm working hard to make it less.
But I mean, really, only 20% of
Oh yeah.
what we're visually experiencing is what we're actually tracking with our active brain.
Well, and
It's like
also, you know,
80% of it, our brain is
Yeah.
creating the illusion of most
Well,
of it.
right. Well, they do talk about that. You know, the system really that tracks it all together and makes it so that the things happen together
To
that
allow you to
happen
locomote.
kind of, you know,
Right.
as you
Yeah.
watch the fireworks in live time, you realize they were that far away because boom comes late.
Yeah.
But our, you know, the default mode network has a lot to do with this in the psychedelic state. Is about how we stitch our reality together from what we're going to decide is my current narrative right
Yeah.
now, and oftentimes you'll find that in synchronicity opens up when we tamper with the default mode system, and that's when we're like, oh, you find more things.
Yeah.
Your soft fascination, like we talked before, find more things to be of significance. Like, so the fireworks coming together for your display, those are all, you know, regular significance. But when we mess with that default, you know,
So I've been seeing fireworks or experiencing fireworks for
Yeah.
50 years now.
Yeah.
right,
And I watched the fireworks downtown that supposedly were trying to set a world record on TV. I didn't go downtown. I watched them. I stayed up late.
Yeah.
They shot off 1 minute of fireworks when it was switching from 11:59 to 12. So the majority of the fireworks on the mall for the 250th anniversary, the majority of the world record setting 850,000 fireworks they shot off were all shot off on July 5th.
July 5th, yeah.
On July 3rd, after midnight, at a minute after midnight, since nobody in my neighborhood was shooting off mortars or anything, I shot off a whole bunch of mortars and set a bunch of fireworks off because for some reason I felt like I wasn't going to see a fireworks show on the 4th. And then
Yeah.
the big fireworks show on the 4th was actually all on the 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But the thing about it is, until last night, I had never seen a fireworks show that I felt like when it ended, that I was like, I always felt like, man, I wish I could see more. Last night when I watched that fireworks show, for some reason, about 30 minutes into it, I was like, man, this shit's going on for a long time. When's this shit gonna end? And it's like, I don't know whether it's because I'm old or what, but I was just like,
Yeah.
it seemed like it was
Yeah.
overkill.
Yeah,
Like,
it's too
it
much.
went 10 minutes longer than it needed to.
Yeah. It went
I
just-
don't know. I mean, it was amazing. I'm not discounting.
Nah, you-
Oh,
The
they just 'cause they
amazingness
shut down
of
the
it.
large collider in CERN. So now
did hear
your,
that
your
today.
perception is different, and that's
Yeah.
really what happened.
Well, I mean, a lot, like, dude, there's fences and magnetometers and
Yeah,
all
and
sorts
all
of
that
crazy
stuff.
shit that you have
Yeah.
to go through to even get down there to see it. It's like,
Dude.
I just watch it on TV now, man.
We
There's
used to
no
go down
point
there
going-
for the smoke out. Do you remember the smoke out?
It was Rock for Reagan.
And
It
we'd
yeah.
go there
became
at the Lincoln
smokeout.
Memorial
I
on the
remember
4th
hearing
of
that.
July, and we'd all like corral in this one area and be like all excited that we could smoke in public. And then if you were on the very edges, they would like come in and like arrest different people for smoking in public. And we were with our bud. I'm not gonna say his name right now because he's a prominent young man. He's a successful businessman, but he was being a successful businessman that day, and like, and I turned around and he was like clapped up by the cops, and I knew what was in his pocket. It was like a lot of artistic paper that had like little perforations on them, and he had like maybe almost a whole book of them, and a lot of paper. And I was like, oh my god, he's got the, like, it was part police, I think, that clapped him up. I guess they were smoking. Maybe they saw him like selling something. I'm like, dude's about to get a.
Yeah.
And then I turned around and he kicked the cops. I don't know how he got out. He like pushed him over or whatever and started running. Looked like Big Bird, dude. The kid was tall, running away.
Yeah.
I
Oh
can't
my
believe, dude. And
Wow.
we thought we were such hot shit going down there
Yeah.
smoking in public at the Lincoln Memorial. With the smoke out. It was 91, 92, something like that.
It was.
It
There was no. That's the thing.
No
like
security.
when I was little, my parents took me down there. When I became a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
I went down there. And there were no rules, no regulations, no fences, no security.
No.
No.
People would bring couches and
Oh, yeah.
barbecues and leave kegs out on the mall.
Oh,
and it was
yeah.
just a
Yeah.
complete, utter disaster mess the next morning.
Yeah.
And it's like
Swimming in the reflecting pool.
wa-
Every
waiting
year
in
people
waiting in the
pool.
reflecting pool. It's like now it's like I don't know. It
I'm-
just seems like so regimented
Yeah.
and conformed
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
controlled.
Well,
and
I
like,
do, there's a chance that the 250, that taking over that 250 fund and turning it into 250 Freedom might be one of the things that really like could bring the racketeering charges, because that was for 10 years. Like, the Smithsonian Foundation and the
They did
Smithsonian
the-
like
Smithsonian
Folkways,
did that.
Folklife Festival has always been amazing for decades, but for the last 10 years, there's been money allocated to be this 250 celebration, and it was co-opted, and there was like people who their careers were built around this, and it was changed just in the last few months, and then it was like backroom like deals, and go buy your Mount Olive pickles. That's all I'm gonna say. You guys see the pickles? Like,
Oh.
you guys didn't see this one this morning? Like, there was like they woke up. They have every state has different little sponsored things,
Yeah.
and some states just didn't even come. Maine just protested, but Georgia the next morning, like on the 4th, I guess, or like leading up to it, it wasn't. But the 4th, Georgia's tent, and the main sponsor of
at
Georgia's
the
tent,
state fair.
yeah, the state fair at the 250 thing,
Wow.
Georgia's tent put up all of these battle flags from the Confederacy in their
Oh.
tent.
Wow.
And their main sponsor was the pickle company, Mount Olive.
Mount Olive, yeah.
And it's their big deal in Georgia.
Yeah.
Or South Carolina or Georgia. Now I better get this right. Yeah, I think it was.
Don't fact check
Yeah,
us.
don't
Don't
fact
fact
check it.
check,
Well, yeah, so one of them, yeah, I think it was South Carolina. It makes the most sense. So yeah, it's a big controversy in the pickle world. I'm kind of
So
a
in the
pickle fan.
state fair tents at the mall,
Yeah.
like where they had the Ferris wheel and the state fair stuff going on,
Yeah.
that one state changed and put up a bunch of Confederate battle
Inside, you
flags.
go in there and there's a bunch of battle flags. There was another one you can go get baptized at too. It's called David's Tent. I'm not going to go to it. But yeah. You get baptized and it had the Israeli flag in it and the American flag, and you get baptized on the downtown on the Washington
Okay.
Mall.
Well,
Yeah.
Wow.
well, I'm glad I didn't go.
Oh, what? You didn't want to get baptized?
I mean, I've been baptized once. I think you don't need to be I mean, certain religions say you need to do it over and over again, but I think once was enough. And
Joe
it
Rogan's
was-
religion, you do it every morning when you do a cold plunge after you drink your Rogan juice. Jump
Yeah, I
in the
know. I've
cold
seen
plunge.
that. Yeah.
I like swimming in the morning, but I wouldn't put a spiritual or religious aspect to
Yeah.
it.
My cortisol is my spirit. My low cortisol is my
Best thing you can do
spiritual
right
guide.
when you wake up is drink a bunch of cold water.
That's what I do every morning.
Lucky.
Yeah. No, like room temperature water.
Ice cold water.
Yeah. All right. Well, I
Treat it
think
like a liquor
we're
drink.
pushing. Storm's coming
I
in
can
on
feel
us.
it.
So
It feels
We can
good. The
feel the
temperature
storm.
dropped
Actually,
like
it does
10
feel
degrees
good.
in
I
the
don't
last
want to
15
actually
minutes.
like
it feels pretty
Yeah.
good right now.
back in
One of
the-
these summer storms that are coming into Ford Valley. So
Yeah, but remember,
yeah,
like,
and subscribe.
comment, and
And
check
comment.
Dave out.
Oh yeah.
What's
Yeah.
your plug again?
Oh yeah. My name's Yaga Dave online, so I'm
Okay.
Yaga,
Yaga
Yaga,
Dave,
yo.
and I have the Cricket Open Mic Storytelling in Charlottesville. It's called the Cricket Mic on Instagram.
Okay.
Oh, and from work this week, if you don't know, you're in a situation and somebody comes up and starts asking you questions,
Yeah.
you gotta tell them, you better call Tyrone.
Right.
Call him. And then just leave it at that
Call him.
and just like walk away from the situation.
Yeah,
And if
good
they're
work.
too young to know what the hell you're talking
Uh-huh.
about,
Then
when
buy
you
them an
come back,
Erykah
tell them to
Badu.
look at Erica Badu. And if you
Oh.
don't know the answer, you better call
right.
Tyrone.
That's right.
Call him. So I will go ahead
Thank you guys.
and let us
Thank
get
you.
out of here. And we will see you in another week. And we appreciate you guys watching.